Behind the southern charm lies razor-blade smiles and hearts of darkness.
Monsters we are.
You know the rest of that sentiment and the reasoning behind it.
The truest lie ever sung.
It is not in seeking monstrousness that we stave off the monsters of our hearts and thoughts.
We are monsters dead, and truly so.
Yet our monstrousness is solely in seeking to live.
Seeking to be that most human of animals.
Monsters we are.
Monsters we are.
The better to embrace the truth of our dead humanity.
The Coast After Dark is a mature-themed Discord play by Post Server based in and exploring the V5 world of darkness in and around the Mississippi Gulf Coast region.
It has a small local population with over 14 million tourists that visit annually.
Roughly an hour's time is all that is needed to travel from end to end.
The geography and size of the region has created a unique power structure that is formally known as the Council of Twilight.
It is sometimes called the Pentarchy.
Sometimes affectionate.
Sometimes oozing with disdain.
Come explore and safely experience the darker parts of the sun-kissed landscape
and your imaginations.
Good evening. Welcome. Thank you for being here. This is the second of 3 of the Rage Across the Secret Coast, or also called Coastal Rage by Dark. Thank you all for your time, your effort, and your energies. And I am Nobody, your storyteller, your narrator, your number one fan. And we dive into play in less than a few short moments. So allow me to say once more with a feeling. Thank you.
Who knows? No.
What is up, Squidward?
Greetings and salutations. How we doing?
I am doing fine,
Excellent, excellent. That's always good to hear. Sorry for being a few moments tardy, but I figured we had a little time before everyone moseys on in.
Clearly. It's just us tonight, apparently.
Really? You think that's the way that it's gonna go?
Mm-hmm.
All jokes aside, and all jokes do, very, 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 very heartfeltly, thank you all for being here. I'm not sure if you all understand or realize how valuable I take play. And one of the many things that we lose as we get older by the second. And the ability to play even in such a dark and twisty Technicolor nightmare that is the world of darkness. It is a valuable tool. It's a valuable thing. It keeps us young and it helps us appreciate and get through several other things in life. You don't stop playing because you get old. You get old because you stop playing, to paraphrase. And so, without much further ado, unless of course there are more questions, more suggestions, more hypotheses that we have not managed to embody or address, going thrice.
I want to hear Kale's recap. Because we know I can't recap for shit. We know that Lynn is good at it, so now we gotta see who's the best.
If not me, I can tell you that now. Essentially, to distill it down, we are playing the game of Werewolf, and currently the coterie is on the hunt for a missing leader of our entire pack, who it seems as we're going to be going on a search party of divided into 2 groups, one stepping sideways into the shadow realm and one who's going to be looking in the physical plane to try to find her. From what I can tell, it seems like we may have a couple of betrayers within our midst, and we kind of have to figure out who did what and where so we can prove it, and then we'll deal with them accordingly.
That sounds correct to me.
I mean, yeah, if that's the plan, I'm good for it.
That very much is the gist of the plan. That is, it boiled down to its larger points, touching on all of the important aspects as we left them. The pack that's forming, because that's literally what this is. Each wolf gathered, each wolf present, for the most part, at least as far as the playing characters, are in fact from separate portions of the coast. Each wolf present is nominally part of another pack. For instance, Adres Bolivar is actually roughly part of the Gulfport pack, and Lillian is roughly part of the Waveland pack. Kale, the D'Iberville Ocean Springs pack. Aurora, part of the Gautier pack. And then, not present, but still roughly in the same vicinity, El Lin is part of the Pascagoula pack. Now, the notable persons in the Pascagoula pack are not completely all there. Everyone is scattered because this thing that has been called wasn't something official. How can it be official when the heart's not in it? And the heart, of course, being rebel. So while notions were sent out, ideas were put forth, and rough hospitality has been provided, the truth of the matter is this is unusual in so very many aspects. The Alabama pack formed predominantly around Care Bear and Tanaka, not to mention, Jungle Swirl, are old pack members specifically of Rebel. The other elders and Sept Leaders, not so much part of what Rebel once was. Her wild and youthful days. But Care Bear, Tanaka, Jungle Swirl, and Cold definitely were. And they're back. And there lies the biggest problem. With all of the things that have happened in the few years since you've all become as you are, with all of the moments in the dark, howling away your pain, crying away your happiness, with all of the moments that have passed, the one thing that is resoundingly evident across every strata of the sept of the secret coast is that there is no stepping back. There is no retreating from what you are. There's no going back to the old anything. Tomorrow, today, is based upon those who are able to withstand, outlast, and move forward into every bit of turmoil and trouble that the world has to offer. Because the only way out of hell is one foot in front of the other. The only way to see, to fight for, to collect the scraps left and maybe build something after is by moving forward. Not one member, for all of those older wolves who've howled away and sung away and poeted away and otherwise espoused the glory of the old days, there is an understanding that going back is anathema. Going back is a surefire way of making sure that tomorrow may not be there for you. And yet here they are, Cold and Tanaka and Care Bear. On the same night when you all realized that the heart of the Sept Leader that is no longer present. Through whatever means and however it happened, Rebel isn't here. Yet they are. So even as they toss in their support and pledge there, with Care Bear somehow managing to wrest some bit of grace from the other gathered wolves, and offer a plan like, well, hey, if that's what we're doing, this is what we'll do. We've changed our mind. We will support these young, hungry wolves. So with that statement echoing there in the most recent memory, with that support and the various conversations pulling out as people try to decide where would they best be effective, because a challenge to the cairn could be disastrous for the entirety of the Secret Coast. The cairn here, this Pascagoula cairn where you all are, is the life's blood for the world that you all are part of. It will have ramifications if it is proven unfit, or worse, poisoned, or worse, taken from you all. There is a domino effect of things that happen when a cairn goes down. Those who like telling wives' tales and exaggerating say that Pompeii and Mount St. Helens and the Japanese tsunami were all moments of a cairn being lost. Some say that the Bermuda Triangle is one of the world's largest actual cairns. Some say that the rainforest in South America is another huge cairn, and as it's depleted, or as it's challenged, or as it's lost, so too are the ecological damages that have been happening for the last century. As cairns are lost on a local level, the farmers nearby don't grow as much. There are not as many healthy hunting animals, prey animals in the area. People get sicker and they live in deplorable situations, both mentally and spiritually, as their body is slowly corrupted. The noxious, toxic contact of the worm infects and invests within those communities. The cairns acting like white blood cells, fighting off most of the illnesses that attack the body that is Gaia. It's not just a safe place for wolves to be wolves. Not just a safe place for Garu to be as they are. It very much is an active assault on the world at large. So of course there are conversations, especially when Aurora has brought it to everyone's attention that the Forcipuli, the centipedes, the jaglings that they are, the spiritual protectors and maintenance of the cairns, are lying dead. So conversations abound. People are pulling off into packs, 2, 3, talking, trying to decide who's going to go with who, which portion are they going to actually attend to, leaving you all a moment amongst yourselves.
Oh, before we dig too deeply into that, since I have this opportunity with so many of the kinfolk gathered, I have a very... I didn't expect it to be that important, but the rite of kin seeking allows me to track kin by scent. Would I be able to potentially glean if anyone here has rebel scent overly attached to them?
That doesn't exactly work that way. The rite of kin seeking can, so that we have the lexicon a little bit better, is our wolves who have not changed. They have not had their first change. They carry the potential to be Garu. But if they never change, they'll do what every other slightly special individual does. They'll do what every actual special individual does. They'll just simply die. Which as a priest, you understand on a level that most others don't. And here's the thing. When you die, because that moment is coming for you all, be it peaceful or not, when you die, when every living thing dies, They return to the earth. All the energy that they are and has been goes back into the earth. It returns from whence it came. It helps seed and water the future. Yet, what that person, what that being was, also poisons if they are that insidious. It's the reason why most older wolves, especially when you talk to the the Thurges, they always suggest fire. They always, one of the running themes is if you give a Thurge a fire at a funeral, you're going to have a pyre. When you give a fire to a Thurge when taking down game, you're going to have a barbecue. Because when the body is burned, when the energy is expended, that rises up and doesn't poison the earth. It turns into rain clouds. It drifts away into space. It becomes one with the cosmos somewhere out there. It doesn't poison the earth. So when given the opportunity, almost every Thurge will push for or attempt to use fire as the final arbiter for the fate of every enemy.
Okay, so a Thurge is just a Kindred's worst fucking nightmare then. A werewolf pyromaniac. Oh, yeah. Alright, well that straightens a few things out for me. In some wonderful werewolf terminology I had no fucking clue about, but... Alright, thank you. Sorry for my brief interruption, everybody.
So while you guys have a moment, the conversation is happening here, there, and around the small space, because it is a relatively small space, but you all are effectively in the entryway. You're in the atrium of the cairn. You're not in the actual heart of it, because there is a superstition. There is a belief, and the cairn itself on multiple occasions has given you all proof of such. If you are not truly part of the sept, if you are not more than just a guest, poor things might happen if you enter into the heart of a cairn without having full access to it.
It's not recommended.
It is not.
Since we are having this conversation about who should go in and who shouldn't go in, Andres is just going to be very clear. I myself don't have access to this. I don't have proper permissions. I'm not necessarily too keen on sticking around and exploring through there if we have to.
Remind me out of character. We are all nominally part of this cairn.
Yes, you all are nominally part of the sept. The sept is the group of packs that are protecting this cairn, but you all can reap the benefits not being attuned to it from just being part of the sept and protecting it. Visiting into the atrium and standing in the entryway in the foyer and taking care of the lands on the outside, taking care of the building that it is more than fine to be part of the sept. Cairn access is you've attuned with the glowing white hot ember of all of that wild power.
And have we? Can we?
I'm pretty sure the only one of us here that has that kind of thing is LN.
Yes. And of course you can be guided in by one of the elders into the heart of the space and receive all of the benefits therein. But it's one of those things where if you don't have to, you don't have to. Especially being is that attunement, that being really part of the cairn kind of landlocks you, as it were. Mm-hmm. There's a very real aspect of once you are fully attuned to a cairn, that is who you are. Like here, the attributive effects in the community and the world at large are magnified for you more by being attuned directly to the cairn.
As for which of us will be slipping into the Umbra or not, I don't necessarily have any strong feelings one way or the other.
No, especially with you having that over your shoulder. You really haven't had much time to talk about it much, because part of who and what Adres is in regards to the moon he was born under, the moon he came into himself under, it's more about the balance of judgment. Adres and Kale have a similar vantage point on the whole of it. They're adept at weighing and measuring. They're adept at passing an adjudication down, considering this, that, and the other, coming up to and upon a particular vantage point that is the most just. Whether it's the most just for everyone or this, that, and the other, everyone has their own perceptions about that measure. But both of them, born under the moon that they were, the auspice that they were, have a similar outlook in that regard, have a similar vantage point. And whereas Adres has another small aspect to himself, namely his other, that presence that periodically wraps its arms around him, that other that lets him know that there really is a actual spiritual world, and without any exaggeration, that can and does affect the physical world. It's been with him since he was a child, and it's only as he's come into being a Garu that he understands what that other is, what that companion actually is.
Mm-hmm. Is it a motorcycle?
It is not a motorcycle.
Well, mine is.
Be perfectly fair, from an OOC perspective, I have no idea what the heck I'm talking about whenever it comes to this thing. So elaborate for me, if you would. What is this thing?
Your companion?
Mm-hmm.
The presence that's been with you since childhood, that voice of the other. You still haven't quite figured that out yet, have you?
Oh, God.
I'm sure nothing bad will happen because of it.
Oh, absolutely not. No. Well, with, I suppose my ties to the other in consideration, just keep that in advisement whenever we're doling out who goes where. I believe I might have a slightly more informed time elsewhere than searching about manually.
Well, I can help us step sideways, but I think it would make more sense to have an elder guide us.
It's funny the way that works, isn't it? The more you all break with what has come before, the more you all try to adapt and adjust to the world as it is, and take a slightly differing vantage point on all that's come before and how best to move forward, it more times than not, there's always a connection to or a tie from the past. The living embodiments of them, those survivors that are the elders of the Sept, those survivors who are the older, more alpha members of your individual packs. It's hard to break from that when they are so prevalent and so, well, active, though active varies. So you all aren't discussing anything. You're standing watching the other 2, 3, 4, 5 gather and talk and make decisions about what you've all put to them.
Well, for the most,
Kale will try something. He goes goes close to Aurora, close enough where it's almost like he's her good luck and everything. And he leans in. Remember the house, the message protect the pack? Just in case, when you guys step sideways, somebody decides to flip out and try to bring it down. It looks kind of, not to say slightly towards Care Bear and the rest of them. Just make sure that you protect the Karen when y'all go sideways, okay?
Yeah, we will. I don't know of a better way to do it than to go at this point.
Well, kind of nods toward what Kale said. Actually, he brings up a good point. If we are all running scattered like chickens with our heads cut off, and the only other protection to this cairn is dead on the other side, according to you, we would be leaving it defenseless. So, we should probably not do that. I don't know whether we have to trade off, somebody go to Umbra, others wait till they come back just to make sure that the cairn doesn't get taken down. We need to leave some sort of protection on this side.
So, we should split up. But, the cairn needs protection from both sides if something's in there killing the spirits.
Well, something to
It
consider.
doesn't work in horror movies, but it doesn't seem like a bad idea this time to have some of us stay this way and some of us go that way.
Something to consider is that if we do slip onto the other side, it's where the cairn is at its weakest. Just if that helps in your considerations. It's not as present or prevalent or stalwart there.
Okay,
So we think it needs more
who's best
protection
on the
from
other side?
Well,
I don't know. See if you can get Care Bear to go with you, though.
that'd be something.
Being as how he volunteering.
So I'd be good to hop on the other side, but I believe it is something that we should look into. Given that the cairn and its protections are weaker on the other side, anyone that's looking to dominate it will most likely approach it from that angle as well. There might be further clues as to what happened here, and especially with the Guardians there.
Alright, so, what's your name again?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
Andres.
Andres, you and I can go to the other side, since we seem to be the two most equipped for it.
One would hope.
And, alright with staying here.
I think the situation kind of dictates that we do.
Alright,
I'm good with that.
seems like a plan.
Oh, in that case, let's split up, gang.
Just as a heads up, you don't have to stay here. I have something that'll help us all slip into the other. He pulls out his talisman. The whole pack can come along.
Are you saying this loud enough to be overheard?
No?
Just making sure, because as you pull out what is, be perfectly honest, only seldom spoken of, and is, with everything being an oral history, seeing a actual physical aspect of the Umbra in person, it's akin to being there when the Mona Lisa was painted. It's being in the studio when Picasso was at his absolute maddest of lattice. The parties, the smoke, the philosophy, the conversation, the wooing of every person present, either through sheer domination of will or the fact that his mind worked in so many angles at once. Even if you were completely heterosexual, you found yourself attracted to him. That's what you are looking at inside of Adres's hand. It is a definition of power. The seldom spoken of, the seldom actually understood Umbra, the other side here.
Where did you get that?
As he just takes the back half of his, necklace-bound crucifix and clicks it back on to seal away the item. Some questions are better left unanswered.
I'm not sure they are better left unanswered.
But,
something like that? Forgive me, but you're a pup, aren't you? You're young like we are.
Yes.
Yes.
For the most part.
And 9 years ago, on his first change, the thing that caused the most of his failure of faith, because that's what this last few years has been him struggling and dealing with his faith. So as you mentioned, some things are best left unspoken, and Rora pushes a little, your mind goes back to that night. The wolf riding you as if you stole from it, as if you owed it money. The wolf demanding that there be a vent to your rage. That someone and something, a multiplicity of them, pay the price for what they've done to Gaia, for what they've done to you, for what they've done to your people. And as you very nearly end one of your parishioners' families, not their lives, the entire family were in your crosshairs. And as you only remember the hand on your shoulder pulling you back and pulling you into the beat up old Ford that Rebel drove, the mad dash across the dark country roads to her place at the edge of the swamp, just you and her and your wolf. And as you fought and clawed and raged and vented and yelled and screamed and did everything you could to not act on what you were being driven to do, just that mindless lashing out, you remember how you came to that small moment of peace. And as your tears materialized in your hands, literally forming this small bit of amber, this small bit of the other, you remember the pain in your eyes and the calm that Rebel helped you find.
It was a gift from Rebel. Not necessarily one that she had to give, but one that I obtained through her.
Wow.
Consider it, and this might sound a little childish, an object crystallized out of my darkest moment.
I see. Well, then I hope it serves you well.
I hope that it serves us all well. That's why I brought it up in this moment here. It might, if there is preparations that have been made on the other side to dominate this cairn, be prudent of us to go in full force.
You mean to bring us all?
to bring any vaguely gestures at the small gathering of the pack. Yes, us.
Us, says the lumbering form, easing closer. His bald pate, his wide set shoulders, his paunch, far more substantial than most armor plates that are used today. His crucifix hanging so very tightly about his neck as to seem a choker. His very old style monk's robes as he trundles across the wet, moist earth. Us. Who might us be?
All of us? All of us of the Sept.
Those who I believe would be of value to the excursion.
Those you believe might be of value, says Gerald, as he draws closer, he bodily putting himself and insinuating himself into the conversation. His almost roomy eyes looking from one wolf to the next. And there are several tells that every wolf has when they are just a hair's breadth from purposefully losing control, when they're beating their wolf into a lather to exert their will or otherwise tap into the strength of the beast, the strength of the wolf in each and every one of your hearts. And you can tell that effort is going on beneath that supposed calm veneer. Is heavy breathing, because it takes a lot of effort even for a wolf to move such bulk. And who do you think is actually worth it, pup?
And just kind of calm, collected, just meeting his eyes and not even letting a bead of sweat roll off. Just, oh, come on now, don't take it that way. You know what they say about too many cooks in the kitchen, too many hands on the wrench.
Too many voices raised in prayer, because you understand that every aspect of spirituality is just as valuable as the next. Some of us have an understanding of what that is. Isn't that right, Kale?
Sure.
Yes. So, Atris, being as you refuse to accept the kindness of the D'Iberville pack, and being as you refuse to accept the grace of God's good gestures towards you, what makes you think that you would be the right voice? I don't care what auspice you were created under. You're not the right judge of character. Perhaps Gale, with his apprenticeship to our pack, might one day be there himself, but even he understands that you aren't the right person.
I mean, to say that I am not willing to accept the D'Iberville Pack's generosity and help in this is completely untrue. I'm more than willing to trust, and he gestures over to Gale, this initiate into your pack, as you've called them. Give them an opportunity to prove not only to, I suppose, yourself, but me, that... Oh, wait, just a moment. No, I am fully aware who this individual is. I looked on the mirror. Give themselves an opportunity to potentially prove to them, to you, to me, and to themselves what they're capable of. After all, we pups will be together for a long time, and we must bond. I'm sure that one so wise and learned as yourself has many avenues through which they might be of help in this particularly unfortunate scenario. Do you not?
Yes, and none of you actually have been blessed or attuned to the cairn. You all shouldn't be who goes to the heart of the power of this sept. Neither of you, none of you actually deserve it. Just because you can do a thing doesn't mean you should.
And yet, we are the ones who discovered Rebel missing, and the ones who discovered that the Guardians are dead.
All these discoveries from simple pups. It's almost as if it's fate or divine will.
And yet that seems too pat. You've all perhaps have done a mischief to our dear Rebel. You all have perhaps done a
Lillian
mischief.
speaks up and, hey, daylight's burning, the trail's getting cold. So unless you got a better idea,
Yes,
step back and let the new school do it.
yes, I got a better idea. I think
'Cause y'all were here this whole time and didn't know what Aurora found out. We had to tell you. But what is wrong with y'all that y'all didn't feel how wrong and off this place was the whole time you were here until we got here?
why didn't you feel it when you first arrived if you all were so special? And who says to say that it feels off? Who's to say that this little drug addict isn't seeing things again? How many times did Rebel come and save you from some madness inspired by chemicals?
This directed at me?
No, he's
No,
looking,
it's directed at Aurora.
he's looking
okay.
at Aurora.
Time.
I was about to say, like, oh god, I hope it's not directed over there. That's gonna start some shit.
Aurora looks at him and says, "You're right. She saved me more than once. And that's why I care. That's why I'm trying to save the Cairn, to save the pack. She wanted us to."
So you say, but there's no even proof that Rebel is doing more than visiting her sister in California. You say she's missing, you say some mischief. Who's to say you all didn't do it? Who's to say? And he's clearly building to a crescendo. He's clearly attempting to pass judgment. He's clearly attempting to summon the gifts that are natural to those born under that auspice, which, unfortunately for KO and others, you know what he's building towards. You know that while he may lack the Galliard's gift for telling a tale and rousing the feelings of the gathered, that each of you in your own way with your own skill could very much do the exact same thing that he's building towards. He's building towards aligning you all as nearly ostracized, to give a militaristic might to his decision to take what you all insinuated, that you all were going to be the pack that steps sideways to the very sensitive, controlling attunement aspects of the cairn from your hands, making you all either have to back down and not, or take a beating publicly, a pillorying, as it were. You all see it building. You've all watched the steps as he's slowly aligning the case and the facts against you by presenting an alternative theory.
Kel actually started to laugh a little bit. Okay. You're gonna have to hit pause on that, because off rip, there's no fucking way the three of us could actually beat Rebel head up. Even if she knew we were coming, she'd beat all of our asses. So pause that. Secondly, you didn't know what was happening. You can sit there and throw wild accusations, but you didn't know that all of those weird things that, while granted, Aurora do be tripping sometimes, but she's also right. You didn't know that those things were dead. You didn't know something was off. You guys were all sitting here blustering, babbling, and talking about days gone by and the good old days, like a bunch of old humans, and didn't pay attention. Now everybody's fine because everybody slips once in a while. It's fine, but let's not be foolish. We have to get Rebel back in place so that we can get on with our lives. Unless you have a particular reason that you don't want her back. No. And it's okay if you don't. You can say it if you don't want her back. But if you do want her back, we need to get started. Time is burning. Much like my packmate said, we got things to do.
So, nobody.
Mm-hmm.
He has claims of being someone who's already attuned to the cairn, right? And you mentioned that within the Umbra, one might seize control of it. What does that exactly entail? Would he who is already attuned to it stand anything to truly gain from that?
To put it into mechanical terms, if you are already attuned, if you already have access to the cairn, being in the Umbra at the heart of it, you literally can put pressure, give it a quick squeeze, and demand service from it.
Okay. Just, yes, as Kale was saying, it is less a moment about shifting what ideas we have, and more a moment of coming together to fix the problems that are here. And while you yourself may wish to come along with us to gain access to the very heart of the cairn, it's genuinely and generally just it's not a good use of your time. And I think we can all agree here, kind of taking the initiative in seeing that he was trying to make this a larger thing. I think we can all agree here that someone in this moment of distrust and this moment of potential traitors who has, let's say, their finger on the trigger should probably not be given a loaded gun. There is far less of a threat, potential threat, mind you. I know we have our problems, but I'm not going to badmouth you like that. Far less of a potential threat if it is the group of us pups to go in, rather than someone far more knowledgeable and far more attuned.
So are you two working together to...
I would say so.
Deflate? Okay. So between you both, while you the efforts are either just the strength of your personality, which is your charisma, or your attempt to manipulate things so that one, he doesn't actually have a reason to to publicly be angry because it's just talk, while laying him low, which would be your manipulation, plus persuasion. Because you're not just persuading him, you're persuading the bulk of the other packs. Because remember, the Sept is the gathering of the packs from the area. So there are multiple individuals from your own home packs, as well as just from the Sept in general present, with him being one of them. While he's not an elder, he is a significantly older wolf. He's been doing this longer.
Yeah. Nobody, what is precisely ancestral conviction?
You get to add the power of the howl of the past to your voice. You're literally summing up the fact that when you speak, just like every great orator, people get chills. They feel the strength of your convictions and those who've come before you speaking through you.
Okay. If that is the case, may I embolden myself with that feature during this attempt?
Yes.
Alright, I will be burning a willpower for that.
Also, when it says calm the rage of your pack, it has to be my specific pack, or can it be a pack at large that I've joined?
It is your pack specifically. You're able to put your pack back on, as it were.
Now, how does the dice work for a werewolf? What do I put in, like, the hunger score here?
So use /W
Oh.
and then put 2 in as rage when you do the +6 more.
/W.
Put your pool in.
Go /W roll. So, boop. Rage 2. Okay, and just difficulty, we're gonna put 0 since it's a roll as high as possible. And, are we rolling individually, me and Kale, or are we doing some kind of combined, check?
No, individually is fine. You guys can roll there.
Alright. Oop. Between one, you know what, I have to put a 1 in there, so let's go there. Oof. I don't like that.
Why would you do
I
that?
have an enormous amount of willpower. Is it okay if I use that?
Sure. Kel, you gonna give it a go?
Reroll with rage. If you run out of willpower, or you just
That sounds like a genuinely bad idea.
it's not necessarily a bad idea. Rage.
I mean, what's the
is
worst that
a
could happen?
double-edged sword, man. It's great. It's terrible.
I feel like attempting to sway a crowd while just frothing and foaming with bloodshot eyes is just... I don't know if it's gonna get across the message that I want to get across.
I feel like
Yeah, it
it
will.
absolutely would.
It means you're passionate,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, quite.
especially if you're drooling while you're doing it.
Oh yeah. That always gets me every time. I'm like, oof.
You know, werewolves are canines. They can get rabies.
Yeah. If you're lucky.
If you're unlucky, you get super rabies.
Or mange. Don't forget mange.
Oh god, I hate it when I get mange.
It's gonna really suck when we get old Yeller, that's all I'm saying.
Who's gonna do that for you? Is someone volunteering?
Here with some fire. That too.
What does fate
Send you
decide
into a
for you
big
guys?
city.
As you all speak, you watch a large wolf become slightly larger. Most, because of his bulk, because of his size, from a distance don't notice, which is how he's gotten away with this so often in the past. But you, being as close as you are, watch as his forearms become slightly more hirsute. You watch as nothing changes on his bald pate. There's no sprouting of hair, no clear sign that he is summoning his wolf and summoning power into his words, as he scoffs and how dare really this is, and as he's doing all this, putting up the clear-cut dominance displays as if your words are very much like the sound of wind in a tornado. The truth of how effective your words have been in disarming him are there for both of you all to see. There are others gathered, the several members from this pack and that pack, and from the Sept in general. You watch as the nods go from just nodding along politely saying that they're listening to actually endorsing, like, yeah, it makes no sense for anyone not of your pack begin to enter and get close to the source of all power, as it were. From the cairn, with a careful, light touch, you allow the earth, your environment, and everything to exist as harmoniously as possible. Yet under the control and under the attunement of someone who has an excessive amount of avarice or greed or political ambition, it very well could change the fabric of things in the environment. More dismay, more feeling as if Big Brother is always watching, more fear, more paranoia, based on who actually has the opportunity to attune or enslave the heart of the cairn. People are beginning to consider, the wolves are beginning to consider what that might mean. And not for the first time, but for the first time this evening, you all are being looked at as a pack, not part of the Pascagoula Pack, not part of the Gautier Pack or the Ocean Springs, but you all together standing in lockstep in support of one another before the entirety of the Sept gathered are being perceived as a pack. You can see the considerations, some squinting of eyes, some nodding along, a very, very dirty smirk from Medicine, which he's not known for his humor, because most people don't realize that he actually has humor, but all of his dry comments, all of his asides, they're usually pointedly enjoying what little bit of humor there is in the situation. And Mimi, oh God, Mimi, her wild dressed self cackling. Well, goddamn, Adris done got himself several girlfriends and a boyfriend. To which several people start chuckling under their breath or turn away to not do a spit take.
For some reason, I can just imagine Medicine after finishing his gig on somebody, just being like, "If you find that I've left any tools in there, please call me by this number."
Very much so.
And as for the other part, there's just this kind of almost exasperation as that declaration from Mimi takes over the crowd. Like, not quite to the point of physically embodying a facepalm, but there is, through the very, very calm mask that he puts over himself, this just, God damn it, woman.
This is not inaccurate. So, as you all effectively win over the crowd, which is not as easy to do when Garu are involved, because changing a mind is always far more difficult than it should be, because in the moment you may get people saying yes, but their heart, they're still saying no. With wolves, getting them to say yes is in fact winning them over and winning their hearts, getting them to pause their quite natural inclination to war, to fight, to not give in. So getting the head nods, getting the visual yeses of it all is a victory unto itself.
Aurora has some celebratory meth.
Some celebratory what?
What? Meth, obviously. You heard the man, didn't you? Did you think he was alive?
As Andres just turns over to look at his pack, she's lighting up the bowl.
What better time? Of course it's the time.
If not now, then when? If not you, then whom?
Exactly.
I
just
hope that you can.
It's better to be in the Umbra when you're a little high. I'm just saying you should try it.
I'm not going to, but I'm glad that you have something that brings you comfort for what's to come.
You know, the funny thing is, and this is the part that makes it absolutely ludicrous, and by ludicrous it is completely 100% actually laughable. With the increased metabolism that each of you have been gifted from Gaia herself, with even in your unshifted form, even without channeling the wolf into your physical bodies, your metabolism is high enough that she would literally have to clinically overdose to have a high of a significant value to alter herself, despite the social connotations of it.
Yeah, I do. I mean, not too bad, man. But what's the point if you're not going to actually indulge?
I suppose.
So we should, head out. Go, do some good. Save the world.
Lynn eases closer to you all as you all are deciding, and right at the moment as Rora's favorite lighter goes and finally catches. Why y'all want to go and die like that? That's a bad way to go. If I might be so bold as to offer.
What do you mean?
Well, you ain't attuned to the cairn. Meaning y'all go over there because you've gotten the okay to go on this suicide mission. You go over there, that means you're going to have to fight for every inch. You're going to have to fight for every square foot of ground you stand on if you cross into the other side. You ain't got the access. It's a suicide mission. He knew what he was doing. He was begging you all to be the ones to go over there with the strangers, because you see him and he points off to, you see Nash now quietly trying to regain some little bit of face as he's talking to individual members from the several packs. You see him pulling on Medicine's ear, like, man, you know how these kids, they just gotta throw a show, you know what I mean? I was trying to have a conversation and then they want to, and you can see him, you almost can mouth it out exactly the play that he's actually trying to engage in. Look at her, she's over there smoking crack right now, and we don't trust them to go over there. You come on, man, you know I was right.
God, it's not crack, she yells.
God, Mom, there's a difference.
It's not crack. Jesus. How old are you?
97, but no one's asking really, so we'll just keep it right on moving. So as go on.
Shit, what was I gonna say? Oh, I was gonna say, yeah, we were talking about finding an elder that, didn't suck. If you, actually want to help.
Oh. I mean, yeah, no, that'd be perfectly fine. That'll help us out a lot. That was actually one of the things that I was considering with that, was that it would be a lot safer for all involved, but not too keen on him.
Yeah, someone else.
You really shouldn't involve anybody else. And since all of us, well, all of who you gonna take over there getting killed, and that's of course you're gonna try to make sure that you are the last one standing, because whoever goes with you and fights through will have the opportunity of taking more of a defined control or connection to the cairn as a whole.
So
let's just make a...
That doesn't suck was the key point here.
Let's just make a very solemn oath that none of us are going to do anything incredibly stupid like that.
No, not for nothing. Any promotions that the other wolves gathered. You've got wolves from Waveland, Pascagoula. He points to himself when he says Pascagoula. You got Gulfport, he points to Adras. You got Ocean Springs, and he points to Kale. And then he looks at Aurora and high-priced Beverly Hills. And none of us from all of our separate packs have ever actually relied on anybody else except for our personal local packs. And while everybody's trying to hook y'all up and hook us up together, we really haven't done this before. Relied on someone that we didn't have a distaste for. Because I already know some of the gossip that Marty has spread about you, Aurora. Luckily for you, Verdon is far more trustworthy in her appraisal of you. And I'm sure that each of you have heard what Nash has said about Idris and how he tries to make sure that he's the alpha whenever Kale's around. And that's our own individual packs. And then he pauses and looks to Lil. Medicine's a good guy and about as warm as a frozen icicle shoved in the most uncomfortable place. So what has that done for you?
Usually I know how to take care of myself, but I do go to him from time to time when I have a question about things. Basically what I'm trying to say is that we very much appreciate your opinion on things and want to take it into account, I guess. But then, if that's where things stand, do you have a better plan? All I'm hearing is talking. Nobody's doing nothing.
Yeah, no, they're trying to stall.
Yeah, I believe the plan was for us to go ahead and get this done. More than happy to have you along. Let's just come out alive.
Here's the thing. We might be all from different packs, but we're all from Rebel's pack. And that's enough for me.
To be fair, that is our binding element there.
Exactly.
Well,
God.
let's make this somewhat more official so that we are protected as best as possible from what we are about to face, so that we are in lockstep with one another. Like, the social aspect of being a pack is not as important as actually being a pack, being able to take a hit for either one of us. It's not much in the grand scheme of things, but allow me to do this for you all. And honest to goodness, he takes out what looks like a bottle of just hand sanitizer, sprinkles a little bit into his left hand, puts the bottle away, rubs his hands together very, very slowly, completely how you're not supposed to do with hand sanitizer. But instead of it soaking into the palms of his hands, they take on a small tinge of a glow, and he touches each of you in the center of your chest. In the doing, he's humming to himself under his breath. Some of you all pick up on, is that Grandma's hands? Is he really humming Grandma's hands? And when he's done, and he places his hand in the center of his own chest, it's not a symbol of anything, he says, finally done humming. It just means that you won't lose your clothes when you shift. Okay.
Oh my, that is useful.
It's a small thing, but I really believe we should vote with our feet. We should vote with our efforts and what we can do to as proof that we are in this together, because that's what this is. Each of us have been touched by Rebel. Each of us have been the recipients of her grace. Each of us, in our own way, are her children. So if we're going to do this, quiet is kept. I think that you all should leave with me, and we'll let them argue and harangue and go on and shift allegiances and let him work at stalling, because Nash doesn't have access, but I do.
I like you.
Yeah, I was going to say let's step off before we do anything anyways, but get the show on the road.
There's a back way. We can enter into the actual cairn itself. We do need somebody else that you all think you can trust to watch over us, and I'll lead them in. But we have to do it quietly before the rest of them finally make up their mind that they're done stalling and just take whatever it is from us, from you.
So, listen, you're not gonna do some bullshit, cairn stealing if we go with you, are you?
Who do you think helped Rebel prune this little gathering place out of this space? I've been her gardening assistant since my first shift. I know everybody doesn't like the fact that I used to run with an eraser, but that's in the long, long past. And unlike him, I'm not going to burn anybody out of existence. If that was the case, I would have done it years ago.
Is this like any sort of verifiable for us? Is this like something that we know about her?
Yeah, she didn't do it herself. But in regards to
how trustworthy we should, in character, we would think this person is.
That's an individual decision, but as a gauge based on truth of spoken word, go ahead, roll your wits plus subterfuge to denote or detect any equivocation, any dissemination that he may be offering.
I'm much better at subterfuge than insight, so yeah, let's do it.
I am the reverse, so I'll leave that to you. But he just kind of, as for someone I'm willing to put my faith in, I know she's a bit eccentric, but she's a lovely woman. And he just kind of like gestures his head over towards Mimi's direction, where I'm assuming she is rather engaged in some kind of chaos.
She very, very much is. She is at this very moment, as everyone is choosing political sides and this and that and the other. Excuse me. Shelby's been a happily married man and a wolf with his polycule for the last easy 3 to 4 decades. Mimi has not stopped yet trying to get in his pants at every opportunity, and she's doing the absolute most in her own subtle way at this very moment. She's constantly stroking the edges of his red tinged beard. She's constantly remarking on, that's a lovely tie-dye. Would you be able to maybe, I don't know, tie-dye someone's skin, maybe? Like we could try it.
And, you know, to be fair, Ellen, I think Selmy would very much appreciate you distracting her with this.
That's a good chance. I think that's a good idea. And as you look him over, Aurora, taking one big fat rip, blowing the bluish greenish cloud of waste into the air. You know lies like the back of your hand. You've told quite a few, more times than not. In fact, you lied so often that, well, you can almost smell it when someone else is doing it. Subtle manipulations are harder to tell when people use the actual truth to try to dissuade someone, but even that has that hint, that touch, that understanding that it's not complete anything. That's complete and total horseshit that he's spouting. His words don't have that scent. His words don't have that telltale, I'm trying to force you to believe this. This doesn't have any as if he's pushing power or bending the truth beyond itself.
Now let's just hope that your nostrils haven't been fried by all the meth cloud.
Honestly, I'm sorry that you're jealous of me, but you'll get over it.
Jealous? No. Deeply concerned? Yes.
Oh.
Not in distrust or any kind of malevolent emotion, actually. I just want to see you be a better you, and a more happy and improved you. As it stands, regrettably, that seems to be something that you gain through this... And he kind of gesticulates towards her apparatus. Hobby. But I'm always here if you need to talk.
Sweet. Alright, let's go fuck up the Umbra. I mean, do completely respectful things. And save the Cairn.
I like to imagine that, like, the coterie just looked at her, the pack just looked at her as she said that. Whereupon she gave that meek kind of rollback.
Yeah, so, like, literally, in real life, I just did the, like lean back in my chair, put my hands up, like, all spread. I mean... Yeah. Yeah.
Lil, Kale, you guys with this? You this is acceptable to you? I'm hoping.
Yes. Lil has been waiting for them to move the fuck along the whole time.
And Kale has been ready to go as soon as we decided we were gonna go.
Sorry. Being verbose is in my nature.
All right, let's head out the back way. We'll circle around. We'll take. There's a postern that a rebel didn't want too many folks to know about because it leads you right into the center of the cairn. But if you follow me, I can get you there, and then we can go. We can do what it is that we are stupid enough to try to do to keep other people from doing it.
Always love that mentality.
If not us, who will?
You know, that's actually a Spetsnaz thing.
Is it?
That's where I heard it from, at the very least. We had I attended several school meetings, and there was a police officer that came by, a sheriff, I believe, and he said that that was a quote he heard from... You know what? We should walk and talk.
Yeah. So tell me more about how you're in with the Spetsnaz?
What? No, I'm not in the Spetsnaz.
Are you sure?
But didn't you just say you were?
That's really it. So...
No. I have a SWAT buddy who went and did some training with the Spetsnaz.
So you hang out with SWAT members and Spetsnaz. And you went to a Spetsnaz school?
No, I didn't go to the school. I mean, I went to a school, but not that school.
Right. That sounds reliable.
I'm like absolutely fascinated with you right now. So you went to Spetsnaz.
Wait, what? That's a jump.
What?
I didn't go to
More like a
Spetsnaz
bunny hop,
school.
actually. So you work with a man?
I have friends.
You have friends?
I thought the Spetsnaz didn't have any friends.
I'm not Spetsnaz.
That's exactly what Spetsnaz would say. Aren't they like the military spies?
No, that's like the KGB.
So you know.
What?
So you've been taught the difference between the two.
Oh. Oh, this is like Sunday school with the teenage crowd.
What's
Started
a
to
Sunday
look
school?
at you differently. You're part of the man. You're part of the apparatus, aren't you?
Well, religion is the best way to,
man.
brainwash people.
Not with the worm.
Ooh.
No, I don't fuck with that.
Ouch. That's right.
That's a little biting there.
Hey, I'm not the Spetsnaz mask person.
I'm just going to give you a moment of patience.
Answer,
Move on.
darling. Put the shovel down, okay? Put the shovel down.
As the Lord said, turn the other cheek.
And look what they did with
since
him.
we're probably about to go.
Did you know
die.
that was actually a very rebellious thing to do? Because by turning the other cheek, you were having them touch your unclean cheek. So he was basically like, tell him to fuck off. That is your history lesson for the day.
I mean, you can take whatever lessons you want from the good book, so long as you do take lessons. I've had way too many people come in there and just read the words on the page and see ink. And that's the unfortunate part.
If you hit somebody hard enough, they'll definitely turn all their cheeks.
Wait, when did this become sexual?
I do not know.
I was thinking that too, but I figured since we're about to die, we might as well get it all off our chest,
More like putting it on somebody's chest.
I am not at all going to gratify Mimi by making her jest a reality. You can keep your cheeks to yourself. Whatever it is that you've got on your chest, it does not involve me.
Oh.
Well, residue.
You are a priest, aren't you?
I am a man of the Lord, and I shall not adult. Or what's the
what?
Adult? Yeah, you're just a puppy.
I shall not be an adulterer. There we are.
Was that a Freudian slip?
No, that was I'm having a very stressful moment where someone just accused me of interacting with the worm.
Well,
listen.
Much rather the worm instead of what you just said. You will not deal with adults. That's man, that's really bad publicity.
I am not Catholic.
What?
Well, I was just making sure. Yeah, just making sure.
Needless to say,
it's my job, man. It is my duty to make fun of you.
Did you really just say duty as we're walking through a swamp with unknown things in the water?
I think we all know what's in the water.
Duty.
As you banter and jest, and the simplicity of how the relatively secret entrance into the cairn is camouflaged is laughable, because it is literally a rose bush, a wild rose bush. And there's several out here, but naturally roses don't have this particular shade of almost orange red. Wild roses don't grow in such well-maintained bushes as this. The thorns, while annoying, would be a deterrent for most people who accidentally brush against it. But for you all, with your metabolisms and the natural way and rate of how you all heal, this small little bit of blood would just be adding moisture to the bush, allowing it to continue growing. A light burden, a light bother overall. It's literally like finding a treasure map with the honest to goodness treasure marked with an X. It's so above springboard and bright and stand out because of the scent of the wild roses and the fact that, yeah, there are other bushes of roses, but none of them are as well maintained as this. You were looking at it and have looked at it several hundred times before. And each of you, in your own way, think back to those, are immediately struck with those moments where Rebel has always said, everybody tell you the best way to hide something is right under somebody's face. And no, the best way to hide something is right under someone's nose. Make it as big and bright as possible, and they're going to walk right by it every single solitary time. And here, right in front of you, is very much something that's nose affronting. The scent just covering the entire area. The fact that it's a well-maintained and manicured bush standing out unlike all of the other wild roses growing here, there, off in the distance. It is literally a glowing, big, bright X marks the spot.
Ah, Rebel. I love you.
This is the kind of reverse psychology that I very much expected out of her.
Yep, and most people don't like the way the roses smell. That's the reason why she did it. Because especially if you have any sense of smell, roses don't smell that great. They let you know that they will poison you if you just bother to inhale that scent. That's what you're smelling. That's poison. It's letting you know that it's poison, that it will try to kill you. And we instinctively understand that. It's the reason why it's such a sign of skill and a sign of true affection when we hand them to our loved ones. Take away all their thorns and let them know that handle me with care but cherish me, because there's a good chance that unlike the others, I'm not going to do you harm. And with that, Lynn pushes through and, alright, I guess we got to get in before anybody else comes along.
Alright, well, following along.
It does require each of you to roll your strength plus athletics. And as long as you don't fail, you'll get nicks and bruises that almost instantaneously heal. If you do fail, you'll snag. They'll catch your belt, they'll catch the edge of your jacket, or your tie will get caught, or a larger wounding to your garments will occur.
Sorry for the fuck up of the dice pool there, but none of them were crits, so it ultimately doesn't matter.
Oh, but it does. But it does. Always.
I'm sorry.
So
I just love... What's up?
You just love?
I love looking at the werewolf sheet and seeing this fucking bottom right explanatory panel.
Oh, yeah? The form panel?
Yeah, I just... The fact that the werewolf sheet explains some of the mechanics to you on the sheet, I think is a nice touch.
It's pretty great. Especially because those are the things that change. The other nice thing that they did is they put the extra Krynos health boxes, like, on the health track.
I see.
Because when you are in Krynos form, you get 4 extra health boxes.
I see.
And I forgot what we're rolling. Something strength
plus athletics. Just don't fail.
Whoops.
Oh, wow. So very close.
Yeah, you fucking... you and Kale were this close.
We almost tore our pants.
Yeah, you almost fed the roses your own life's blood in a significant value, in a significant amount. Because while you all push through and turn sideways and dodge a few of the larger, more deadly looking thorns, some of them are low and purposely designed to trip and tangle and cause you to potentially fall upon more of the brambles that are the rose bushes. It's a small bit of a trap, but one that's easily surmounted by those who are in fact determined. And despite a misstep here or a small snarl there, you all are sufficiently determined to surpass the initial test. It's a test of faith in yourself. There's nothing like knowing that you're going to hurt to have most people turn away. There's nothing like knowing that, yeah, it's going to suck a little bit, but I know what's on the other side is worth it, to have most people turn away, because no one enjoys pain for pain's sake. No one is going to risk big for what they may not know.
That ain't true.
Most.
Alright, most.
So as you all snarl and push through and take the few love bites from the roses, you find yourself actually inside the cairn. Now, the understanding of what the actual cairn is varies wildly from tale to tale to tale, from gossip and heard of, like, oh my God, did you realize that, so forth and so on and so on and so on. Were actually there with Rebel, and they said that they took them inside, and unlike when you enter in, and everyone exaggerates. Somehow, with all the many tales and gossips that you've all heard, and from all the moments that you've all been at the outer edge of the actual heart of the cairn, that presence, that weight on your shoulders is nothing compared to what you feel now. It's literally as if you all put your finger into a socket, just long enough to get that first quick jolt. Except for it's not going anywhere. It doesn't cause the muscles to constrict or contract. Doesn't cause any outward sign, because it's a spiritual jolt of energy. You can feel, much like when you all have entered into actual graveyards on hallowed ground, consecrated ground, that feeling lightly trembling along the surface, causing the hairs to stand on end. That's what you feel, magnified by 10. You are in a place of power, and unlike before, sitting at the edge, that power isn't pointed at you. You're wading into this ocean instead of being tossed in the far end of someone's tide pool, where the machines are causing the water to lap and dance and push at you, to work at pushing you back out the way you came. No, you're entering into the ocean. The ocean moves of its own accord. It has nothing against you. It doesn't even consider you. But you can feel that immenseness all the same.
Just kind of patting himself down, wiping a little bit of blood away. Just leave it to Rebel to have that tough love mentality on a secret entrance.
Yeah.
That's the perfect place for it.
Better than what she wanted to plant there.
Wait, what did she want?
There's this plant. I forgot what she called it, but its toxin is actually venomous. Its toxins can actually even poison some of us, just enough to make us sick to our stomach. As a test, she already started digging up the vomit pit right over there before she changed her mind.
I gotta try that sometime.
You don't have to, you know.
What? I know I don't have to. Live a little, man.
You ever been in her backyard?
I have.
That big chestnut on the far left, right at the water's edge, there's several of the plants in the roots of the tree.
Nice.
You take your own chances. She always said that not everything back there was a friend, but take your own chances. I can tell you from experience, it's going to be a rough time for about 10-15 minutes.
Yeah, I thought she was talking about the squirrels.
I sometimes forget that there are people who like to put themselves through horrible experiences for entertainment.
There, you just, like, you don't know what it feels like until you feel it.
Do I need to be set on fire to know that that's a bad idea?
I don't know. Do you? That's a personal question.
You know what? Actually, I am here for that. Everybody has their path to walk. Everybody has their experiences to have.
That is a fair and appropriate response. Because each of you all in this very moment are having your own responses. Each of you all in this moment are in your own sensibilities feeling the spirits that are here. Because yes, there are in fact spirits here. There's actually presences here. Many hunts have happened in this cairn, and many hunts have had their energies absorbed by this cairn. There's a quote that people toss out all the time, an aphorism, "No chestnut, all roads lead to Rome." That's what master cairns are. They're the Rome of their particular area. All of the spiritual resonances throughout Pascagoula and much of the coast pool here. Much of the negative and positive energies pool here. That electric tingle you feel is the weight of the other side. You know, it normally isn't this dark, nor this active. Guess you're up, priest, unless of course one of y'all got something else better to get us where we need to get to.
Kind of takes a moment to look around in case there are actually any answers to that. Alright, well then. I suppose, see you all on the other side? That was a little joke. I'm sorry about that.
That was
I
what?
think there was a song about that.
Step on through to the other side.
That's not the one that I was thinking of.
Well, different generations, I suppose.
You need more Ragabash friends if you think that was a joke.
Sure, yeah. Feel free to invite me to a few social occasions. Now then, before we waste any more time, let's head off.
Suddenly, this one shot or this 3-shot is actually a 15-shot.
I'm gonna need 15 shots after this. Welcome to the Umbra, where nightmares are had.
No, it's so very much worse than that.
Oh.
And the reason for that is many-fold. And in battle place like the coast, again, the cairn pools both the negative and the positive of the spiritual output of the area. While garden and caretook by the Garu, it is still very much a thing of both ends of the emotional and spiritual spectrums. When not properly pruned, when not allowed to grow wild enough to be pruned, things happen. When that very carefully developed pH and ecosystem of a cairn begins to shift one way or the other, the ramifications of it manifest in how your trip across, your trip stepping sideways into the umbral realm. And as you all watch, as Andres removes his crucifix and twists the back off, showing those distilled pieces of spiritual manifestation of the spiritual world, of the umbra that is hidden there, and as it begins to glow, Not in any way that would cause the lights above to sparkle and dance, but glow to your eyes, glow to what you feel. The heat in your immediate area ratcheting up several 100,000 degrees all at once. The chill that should not exist in such a solar level heat, causing your skin to break out in goose flesh. That sweat that is instantaneously vaporized from the heat that you all are experiencing shouldn't be able to exist in the same space at the same time, but yet, lo and behold, there it is. For Aurora, it is a very bad trip. You've had several, and this is a very bad trip. It's not the quick come down of a normal Saturday fight with yourself. This is the bad trip that has you swear off taking another hit for at least 4 or 5 hours. This is the bad trip that makes you put it in the next room until you properly come down. For Lillian, for your burgeoning packs, Gautier, they are the storytellers. They are the keepers of the legends. They are the griots of their packs. This is hearing that discord note that is the entirety of the song. This is that hard-hitting poem that is so poorly phrased as to set your teeth on edge, while it's making others cry, making others just grow angry with the subjects that it's touching on, and there's no way to stop the speaker because this is what you've all paid for, this is what you've all come for, and it is that disquiet washing over you. Heradris, it is the dark night of the soul that you spend a lot of time in as of late, but you always been able to find your way free of it. This is not a religious issue, not the way that you worship, but the fact that you do. It is the knowledge, the fear that your prayers are going unanswered purposefully, that there is in fact some greater power out there choosing to ignore you. And Kale, this is all of your words falling on deaf ears. This is all of your truth and honesty and your honest understanding of things being put forth plainly, that should rouse the public, should rouse those that matter into doing something, but they stare blankly into your face, blinking, as if you're speaking the absolute wrong language. How dare you speak my native tongue? How dare you understand the cost of a thing, but not know the value? This is staring out into an audience, standing at a podium with no way to escape, and being able to touch absolutely no one, including yourself. And as the moment passes, and the world slightly shifts to the left, turning on its axis, and as the spectrum of color visible to you downshifts so that the blues and the oranges stand out, but the reds slightly disappear, you've all realized that for the first time you have been accepted into the Umbra against its own wishes. That shard that Idris has is a demand and military order. It's not the shimmering soaking into a wading pool. It is not slipping beneath the water's edge. It is kicking open the door and demanding that everyone stay exactly where they are and obey whatever it is that you're saying. And you feel that reverberating back to you. There's no way that anywhere where the veil between this world and all those that touch it are so thin, None of that matters. And
What?
you're saying?
What the fuck, man? What did you... That's not a gift.
Just kind of solemnly staring off into the distance for a moment before just... Yes. Yes, it is. An unfortunate gift, but a gift nevertheless.
And that's why I didn't want to step sideways.
Ugh, it's not usually like that.
No, not for you, because you're usually already mostly gone, aren't you?
Well, I mean... when you do it right. But still... like... it's... when I do it... when I open... my rift... feel like it's trying to fight back.
That's funny. You admit that no matter what we do, it's going to be a rift. You understand that the Umbra don't like us no more, huh?
That's an it problem.
Yeah. I've never been here with so many.
Yeah, let's just hope it's not in the mood to make that an us problem.
Right, what were we doing again?
Inspecting and investigating.
We are exploring the umbral space of the cairn so that we can ensure that at least no one else is attuned to our cairn. Because we all are part of the Sept, whether we one pack or not. But this is not good. And Lynn points ahead of you all. There's the weight of a pack moving through the tall grass lying just before you all. Well, it's hard to tell in the water that flows this way and that way, making waterfalls and creeks of its own device. But through the long grass heading into the darker portions of the trees, you can see where the grasses have been broken. And you look at that V, that proud, strong V of a pack, a hunt. A pack of what? You're not sure, but that's a behavior that is instinctually known to wolves. The hunting leader taking the point to give chase and rustle the bushes. The two wings designed to direct and point the prey where you want it to go. The wider edges of the wing to keep it from escaping and keep it funneling into the chasers as the bushes are beat and driven towards the waiting arms of the rest of the pack, waiting to take it down once it's too tired to do anything more than bleach out its life's existence.
Alright, well that needs to be dealt with, or ran away from. I'm normally pro get the fuck out of the fight.
Well, they've gone before us, meaning that we're not on their menu, whatever they are, whatever that particular was, because I didn't know anybody else was going to be here. Did you?
No.
We beat everybody else. There's nobody, and he looks around you all, looks back behind you. There's nobody else coming in the back door, as it were, stepping off the escalator behind us to get here, which means that them, they, those are hunting someone, something else.
I thought it might be the ones who killed the centipedes.
That's not good, because that's our pattern.
How many shapes in the grass are there?
You're guessing about 5.
About 5, alright. Well, we're here to investigate, so... do we want to gestures towards the shifting grass.
So let's fucking go.
Alright, it's just going to, I guess, start approaching the roaming pack.
Hill tentatively follows.
Will smiles a little bit. She's really good at thinking, so it's not too.
So as we walk up to it, she's just gone.
As you all make your way into the tall grass, following the pack that is a hunt, knowing what it's like to be on the opposite end of that paradigm, to be the ones hunting. Rebel and your individual packs have all taken you hunting so that you are able to rely on that basic training, that basic understanding to give your wolf time to run, time to explore, time to be master of all that it can survey. It's a important teaching moment for every wolf being taken on their first hunt, being given license to be off leash, to really absorb what it is to be wolf, to be Garou. That melding of flesh and spirit and mind and soul all into one singular purpose to bring down the prey. It is a life-affirming moment for most wolves. For others, an understanding as to what savage garden you all are trapped within. And to others, still something bordering on the spiritual, being able to understand your purpose, or at least have an idea of what that purpose might be. But to be averse to that, to be tracking those that are tracking and hunting something else, it instills its own feelings in each of you. And to give you all an opportunity to deal with those feelings. It is 19 after the hour. Let's be back here at 29 after. Welcome back, everybody. How we doing?
Doing fine, doing fine. I think that Rora is off getting a drink unless she's returned. Yeah, she left a little bit late.
Aha. Late is fine.
We got into a lovely conversation of latent schizophrenia and the joys of never knowing when you're going to pop.
Fair enough.
Also, now that I have established that this game reminds me of the Telltale series, The Wolf Among Us, and Rora said the key phrase, the big bad wolf, I cannot get that utterly fucking surreal music video out of my head. You know what I'm talking about, Nobu?
I'm glad to be evocative enough that you guys are having your moments. That's always a good thing.
It's always fun when the wind is going so hard on the outside of your house that it literally sounds like it fucking howling.
Oh, someone knows what game you're playing, and they're gathering around to make sure that you don't get it right. That you're just playing a game.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Do we have to go in there? We gotta kill everybody. We go in there. Well, let's make sure first. There's a Garou with cat feet right outside your window, clinging to the side of your home and relaying messages through grunts and howls and the odd tail wag, so that the spotter standing further off can relay that message on to the rest of the pack, who are close enough to get there in 5 strides, but far enough that they can stay relatively unseen. So we may have to go in there. Keep an eye. Keep a watch. What about the cats? Don't worry about the cats. The cats will be fine. It's the people we're going after.
I'm back.
Welcome back. Everybody else ready?
Yeah, I should be good to go. Kale, Ernie?
Yeah. I'm here.
Also, to anybody that decides to check in the live play text channel, I apologize for subjecting you to that.
Do you?
You say that, yet there's more coming.
Joke's on you. I just looked at it and didn't listen. Ow! Werewolves of London.
Hello, you back? Not yet, it seems. So we will allow the moment of introspection to persist a moment longer. Is there a theurge present?
Let me see. I believe we do have one. Let me scroll in on the mirror here. No. Wow.
The urge.
We somehow managed to dodge that. Although hilariously, we have a black fury that is a black furry. But
Wow, wow.
womp womp.
So what I understand about theurges is that we should light this whole thing on fire.
Yeah, I'm wondering how much of simplicity is actually there to them.
With theurge? I mean, that's normal, I'm pretty sure. I think that's good and smart and normal.
I was actually like a coin toss away from being a theurge. I just want you to know that.
I was too.
Because I was like, I like theurge and I like because I didn't know what they meant. I was just reading them out, and I was like, Philodox sounds philosophical, theurge sounds theological. I was not close at all to the mark with that one.
I mean, sorta. Oh shit. My heart just
So, not having the ability to have previous academic style learnings about the tapestry and ecosystem of the Umbra is its own sort of burden, because while most of the packs have various members born on various different auspices, Lil's spanning the gambit. The Waveland pack is fairly well-rounded. So too is the Pascagoula pack, because they have the benefit of both their own individual pack as well as the Sept Elders and the Sept Guardians as resources. So tales get told. The Gulfport pack, much like, has its own theurge. And she's not as flighty as the stereotypical hippie ideology that most people ascribe to them. The Ocean Springs and D'Iberville pack is literally the Supreme Court. It is all judges, all super judgy judges of judgedom, spanning the various tribes and ideologies. But all of them, every single last member of the D'Iberville Ocean Springs pack is in fact judges. They don't really interact on that level with most things. Rousing speeches is the commonplace for them. The Gautier pack, of course, you have Verdun, who is a fount of homespun wisdom that most people don't really pay attention to on their day-to-day. So she's able to weave it into a more naturalistic style of communicating and teaching the tapestry. But all of that to say is that they are a resource in and of themselves. And while their styles change and vary, neither of you are such a thing. So you all don't immediately understand the behavior of the hunting pack that is at large. You all don't quite grasp the telltale scent of honey on the wind. You don't notice that the grass beneath your feet and its stirring with the wind is in fact communicating with you all. It's in fact attempting to garner and gather your attention. However, what you all do notice is, would you each be so kind as to, if you are willing, roll your wits plus insight to tap into the constant communication abounding you.
I don't imagine that an acute ability to detect emotions would do much for me here.
Yes, it will.
Oh, cool. Bueno. Okay. There you go.
Ow.
Now we're waiting on these two degens. I'm honestly, this is a real, head trip for me. To be less social and less insightful than one of your characters, Kai, is honestly, it's a fucking... After all of the physical, very low composure-esque individuals that I've played with, I feel as if it is my job to be the Chaos Monkey now.
Well, you know that you're more insightful and everything, right?
What? No, we literally have the same pool.
Do?
Yeah, no.
Oh, wow, we do.
Yeah, and we have the same pool for persuasion as well. I think you might actually have one up on me on persuasion. You and me are such social characters, and it's really weird because I don't know, I'm used to you kind of being a meathead.
I'm gonna take that as a compliment this time.
You are an instigator. Oh, welcome back.
Good question. I've been here. The speak languages, that's a different dice pool than the one you had me roll. So do I just roll that dice pool as well and add the two together, or how does that work?
No, that is a right, which means you, if that's what Lil is attempting to do, can begin her right so that she can pick up certain other things. So instead of...
Yes, I'd like to use that.
Alright, so like planned, that is a 1 willpower roll. Go ahead and give me that intelligence plus wisdom when you get a chance. And while we wait on that roll, the spirits herein, the Banes, Jaglings, and various other strata of spirits who are present here at the cairn, because it is literally like the watering hole in a drought-stricken wild place. There is a piece allotted, because every being needs to drink water. So at the watering hole, within reason, there is a piece. You step outside of the bounds of the walls of the jungle, and then you are anyone's meat who chooses. But until you go wading knee deep into the water right in the middle of the pack of crocodiles, until you go wandering off away from the water into the shade of the tree where the lions are watching everyone, until you do things that are beyond the pale, you're perfectly fine and perfectly safe. So the cairn is that sort of place, which means there is a constant communication with the spirits and energies abounding. Unable to speak their languages normally, unable to commune with them in one way or the next, you pick up the pantomime of it all. You don't know by training how certain spirits respond. You don't know by tutelage and apprenticeship how certain spirits respond. So you're picking up on the pantomime understanding of what's happening. From the grass gently lapping at your legs, beating out a rhythm in time to the wind. The scent of honey that's dancing just at the edge of understanding that is in fact honey. The buzzing of minor banes dancing through the trees, communicating as they do. You realize that you all are entering into the midst of the game. You get the feeling and understand that there is a pack, a hunt, but a pack of what? It doesn't seem to quite make sense. There shouldn't be any other wolf here. All of the Sept are still on the other side of the gauntlet. The entirety of the Sept, including the Alabama pack, are on the other side of the gauntlet. There shouldn't be wolves here, but what other spirits hunt in packs like that? There are no Garu here. And then we move on to those of you with 3 successes. Those of you with 3 successes, meaning... Oh, okay. Others, there's a behavior that mankind has taken from every animal, and that's, while every animal must eat and everything must survive, there is a mourning that takes place. Animal species will pray together. They'll flock together. They'll sing or chortle or roar or howl together when the loss. Even if they are cannibalistic towards themselves, they will mourn the loss of a member. And so, yes, there's a pack hunting, but that pack has already caused some of the minor spirits to be in mourning. And it's a sign of wanton aggression, destroying everything on the way towards their goal. And you see the signs there, the sweetness to the honey along with some semblance of acridity to it. You pick up on the fact that the spirits here, for the most part, are in mourning and warning you all to leave. And then 4 successes. Kale. Not only are the spirits demanding that you all leave, they're also crying out for vengeance. They're also crying for you all to act, if you're not going to leave, in accord with the balance, to right the wrongs that are being done and have been being done. You all are here for a particular reason, and that reason, as Garu, are to ensure that that pack cease their predations, because they're acting outside of the accord. They're acting outside of the peace, and they went that way. And then, as you all are taking in the sights and sounds and following behind the pack and trying to gauge where you all are going, you catch Lil. How do you begin your rite?
Lil's very song based on everything. So she would kind of drop to a squat, like closer to the grass, and try to match pitch with what she's hearing. Humming. And kind of like that, what do they call it when two singers like riffing back and forth, call and receive?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. That's how she starts.
So as you all are taking in the insights, taking in the sense, the sounds, and discerning what it is that you are in fact discerning from the constant, various, unspoken but clearly communicated languages abounding here and there, Lil's voice begins to rise slowly behind you, melding and countering and returning the sounds of the grass, the wind, the buzzing of things and trees just outside of sight, the almost melodic trickle of water and the splash of drops, as the spirit and the space itself is in fact attempting to communicate and get this message out and get you all to understand. And you all don't have the ears, you don't have the lungs or lips to truly communicate in return. So you all are receiving information from every facet around you, and then Lil's voice, not as weathered, not as well used as Rebels, but very much in the same tenor, that quiet, closed lip humming that has far more vitality than it should, that causes certain things within you to immediately begin responding to the and on and several notes, and being answered by the world around you. Watching it happen, listening to it happen, is very much akin to watching a acclaimed musician take a moment in the spotlight and take you into their solace and quietude of how they create the music that they create. And as you watch them pluck or strum or finger the piano or adjust their hold on their woodwind or other instrument, and wondering how they're able to elicit such pathos or happiness or joy, how they're able to strum and pluck the emotions of the audience as succinctly as they do, as skillfully as they do. That's where you all are, as you all just behind you, just back there, as Lil is quietly moving along with you all, begins to echo and emanate, and the world is dancing to her tune. Or at least that's what it sounds like. That's what it feels like. And in the doing, Well, everything isn't properly communicated because not all the languages spoken by the spirits are in fact modern languages. Some of them are old as time itself. But those few languages that are in fact newer extensions, modern variations on the theme, you understand quite succinctly. And as you gather this bit and that bit, and as you return and answer some of the questions being asked, it's only when the moistness at the corners of your eyes begins staining your cheek that you realize what you're doing, what you're intuiting, and what you're sharing back with the world.
That was
Her eyes
beautiful.
go wide. And lips start moving. And now it's in English. Where's Rebel? Why isn't she here? Why are they hunting her ghost? Please help her. The young black things. Get them, they are too strong. Stop them, please. Oh, shit. I'm sure that I covered her mouth for a second. She wanted the best, why them, why forsaking the trust? Pups knew it. They did something to her, and they're hunting her ghost here now. This was her last line of defense. To come here and protect the cairn, even from the other side, and they are hunting her. And they are strong in ways they should not be for so young.
Clear what we gotta get up to then. We can't just let them do what they're doing.
Oh, do we fight something that Rebel can't?
As a pack?
Fair enough.
Does anybody know what jaglings are?
My companion.
Jaglings and spiral dancers will come because the Horsapuli are gone.
I've got an OOC, like, inkling as to what a spiral dancer is, but a jagling, Nobu, can I make a potential occult roll for that?
Yes. DC 3.
Oh, well.
I believe, my spirit pact companion is a jagling.
So, this is not going to be that hot, guys, because it has to be a 100% success for me to succeed here. Alright, let's see how this goes.
Risk your rage. You could do it, bro.
Oh.
Good rage success.
I could rage success. You know what? I've not done it yet. Let's fuck with it. Do I just click the blue button?
Yep.
Alright, let's fuck with it. Oh yeah, I succeeded.
You're damn right you did.
What happened?
You, dear sir, are racked. There's an old show that used to come on. It was basically a series-long B movie, but there was a often quoted, "You wouldn't like to see me angry, Mr. McGee," and that, in essence, is what comes over you as the knowledge of what that means. Jaglings are above minor spirits. They are spirits and ghosts and might have been and never had been entities that are strong enough to compete single-handedly, not united together, not 5, 10, 15, but single-handedly able to vanquish Garu of skill. If taken lightly, if mistaken as to what they are, a Jagling can and has been known to possess Garu. While no other spirit here could force the spiritual being that is a Garu out of themselves, a Jagling might. A Jagling could.
A Jagling just did. What?
Yeah, and he'll just relay that to the group as it flows into him. Just, yeah, no, these are not good. But, I mean, we can't just fucking leave them to do what they will, can we?
No.
The bird says no.
The bird.
The what now?
It says, with us just kind of looking at him, the bird says no, we can't leave anything like that just lingering around. That would be not a good idea.
Well, fuck it. We focus them down one at a time then.
But there's 5 of them, which means they're united in a pack. That already sounds like trouble by itself. That means that each of us has to be on our own guard. We need to actually watch out for one another. We actually need a strategy. How do we actually do this? I've never been hunting outside of my own pack, and they do most of the heavy lifting. I just tell the stories afterwards.
Okay. Who's pretty good at banging? Whoever the best fighters go front, and we'll play it by ear. The ones who are weaker stay in the back and call out what if anyone's starting to get overwhelmed, or if anyone's starting to get surrounded, or if anyone's starting to need help, and we'll shift attention as we need to.
Look, I'm slippery, but I'm not much in the way of actually harming.
I'm not either. That's why I said who.
Yep.
I mean, fuck.
Are any of us Arun?
No.
No? No? There... Not in this edition yet. There are not werelions yet. But
I
there...
have my method.
Well,
there are.
I know I can at least keep one occupied. At least I hope I can. Don't necessarily know about bringing it down, but I can keep it distracted.
I'm beginning to think
Sneak
that
attack will
your good friend was right. We're not the right people to be here.
Well, we're the only people that are here, so we've got to do what we got to do.
Sneak attack will probably be our best bet. Pick them off one by one from behind.
I'm not that stealthy of an individual.
Good, then you'll be bait.
That works for me.
Yeah.
It's good for you that I am.
I can lead them on a goose chase if you want to poke at them while they're chasing me.
I think that might be our only hope. Wait, I shouldn't be making any suggestions at all. And purposely looks at KO. You run with the judges. What's the plan, boss?
Yeah, boss.
All right. I said it sounds like a good idea.
Right.
Lil, you stealthy. Sneak attack. We'll have. Let's see. Alan, you be bait, but we can't. We got to pick them off one at a time. So we're not going up front. We're going in the back. Try to pick up the last one. Work our way up. And God help me. Aurora, you support. You support, and we'll play it by ear and see what we get from there.
All right. So, my gist of this is that I'm going to have a bunch of Garu killing machines running after my tail. Yeah.
You know what I would suggest is
if
that
it's meth, I swear to the Lord above.
Well, that is the best way to shift, but if you want to be a pansy about it...
What's your suggestion? I apologize.
I think we should shift before we are in trouble.
Yeah, I was already planning on that. We can't take these things lightly. We've got to give it our all.
Has anybody shifted without the moon? I only shift during the moon, and only with Rebels' help. Here, well, not here, but the other side of the gauntlet. Here, where it's safe, I can hunt the moose that she has imported every once in a while. I don't I've never shifted without her help, without the pack's help. I don't know if I can. How do we?
Of course you can do it. It's fine. Come on, have some meth. It really gets you going. It gets you that extra edge.
I don't know about that, but
doing things faster and everything's faster and it's amazing. And watch this. And I'm gonna try and shift.
All right, drop that to rate check for me, because I'm guessing what you're going full Krenos, you're going Glabro, you're going Hispo.
Full Krenos.
War form it is.
One more. Nice.
Bit, please. I shift like I've done this a million times.
Alright, Kale, I'm gonna ask something of you that's gonna be a little bit strange, but can you slap me a few times?
I can slap you.
You want to slap me, that's why I do not want you to slap me.
That's why you should let her slap you. You know it'll have the right power behind it.
And after a few turns of the cheek, he's gonna attempt to channel that burgeoning yet suppressed feeling of violence into his shift.
He's just, you know you're thinking of me when you're doing it.
Oh yeah, I am. Oh, we're good so far.
Yeah. Oh, he's less angry. Quick, punch him some more.
I'm slightly less angry.
You are, and you need to mark your rage down by 1. Your rage has decreased. You are losing the wolf already.
For the record, if you are in a non-human or lupus form and you run out of rage, you revert back to one of the two. You're 2 free forms. You can either be a full wolf or a full human.
How do I get angrier?
Getting punched is a good way.
Oh.
Yeah, you were on the right track there. Taking harm is one of the ways.
Yeah. All right, and I'm gonna walk out. I'm gonna go full fucking Krenos because I'm gonna need to run.
All right, sounds like a plan. And Kale, Lil,
just as he's transforming and letting it take over, and just the thing that makes him slightly less angry is the small bit of his sanity that is required to hang on to the hope of just, man, I really hope that my clothes actually don't get broken by this. I hope he wasn't lying. It's just that small logical thought is what interrupts the process.
How repressed is Adres?
Adres has an exceptional amount of composure and resolve.
The reason why I asked, because the thought that really does it for him, the inciting incident for that small stutter step between tapping into the fullness of that bottomless pit of potential anger, is, yeah, he may have lied about the clothes, but even if he did, he only touched the outer clothes. He didn't touch my underwear.
Oh.
He didn't touch my
talking
socks.
about it?
He didn't touch my shoes. Does that mean I'm going to come back with no socks, no shoes, no underwear?
It sure does.
Yeah. And then because there's that thought, there's that it's just like the thing that he touched. My fucking necklace might get broken in the process too. Well, let's just hope.
Possible.
Hope and pray. Come on, baby. I'm religious.
Kale. Lil.
Are you gonna wolf up?
Lil would go Hispo because it's good.
Good for
She
stealth.
can take a little bit of damage, do a little bit of damage, but still be stealthy, and her sense of smell would probably be much better for tracking things in that form.
Doesn't Hispo actually give you -2 to stealth, whereas Glabro doesn't?
No.
Yeah, it does. Hispo is -2 to stealth.
So physical tests, that would technically include sneaking, because you're using Dex, or unless you're like, hiding behind something and using.
It's not a minus. It's just you don't get to add anything, and I already have a plus to stealth for other reasons.
Okay, no. I was just
Not
trying to
worried
make sure
about
that you were.
No, it is a 2 dice penalty.
Yeah, but she also gets a 2 dice bonus. So. Oh no! Wait, it actually specifies double asterisk except to stealth tests. So it's just a flat 2 dice penalty.
Okay.
Stealth. Yeah.
Well, since I'm going to be throwing hands, I'm going to go full Kranos.
Yeah. I mean, I'm basically just shit on a shingle, hoping the sun doesn't dry me away.
Now, with the race check, is that just a 1 die roll, or do you roll your rate?
For Krinos, you need to roll twice, or you can set it to 2. I thought. Hang on, let me just double check.
Yeah, I mean, if you just /W space rage, just do that twice, it'll work. I think you might be able to set like the number 2 in the rage box. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, that seems reasonable. I don't know. I didn't look that far.
Rage doesn't have a box.
No, and just pop it twice. Rage unchanged, alright. Rage decrease. Alright, one more for you, Kale. Okay, alright. So me and Lil over here are the only ones that are calming down, which is not good. Why'd you roll 3? Oh, that was nobody.
Yeah, that was nobody.
Why? Damn. It's okay, Lil. I understand that we're like the most reasonable out of this group. But unfortunately, that's a negative thing in Werewolf the Apocalypse.
It very much is. Both of your rages drop to 1, and you'll need to maintain your rage check for each round in Krenos, and that you're not doing damage, as well as every scene for the other form. So while you guys are shifting, the part that sucks about being a creature of spirit and flesh, a rage monster prone to fits of aggression, is you feel that slackening. You feel a portion of yourself reduced. You feel the pressures of the mundane, everyday world that is sapping the very lifeblood of the planet weigh on your shoulders as if you're carrying a backpack full of somebody else's dirty laundry. You feel that just banal pressing down of day in and day out drudgery. While neither of you are office workers, you don't sit behind the desk, you don't have your soul leached away through computer monitors or screens and the mindless droning on of coworkers. You feel that weight on you. You can hear 100,000 banal requests for reports and just the check-in, the morning check-in, the afternoon check-in, the after-work check-in that is a mandatory, all paid for expense social outing for team building. You see all of the and hear all of the banal icebreakers from corporate drudgery the world over. English and Spanish and Japanese and in various languages, in German and Swedish. It's just too fucking much. It's not even anything to be angry about. It's just soul-suckingly depressing.
Gotta love that. Gotta love that.
Sure we're not office workers?
So, just a question here. The Howl of Assembly specifies that it fortifies. What does that mean?
What do you mean, what does it mean?
I do not have the werewolf book. I have no idea what the fuck this power does.
The Garrow sends their howl far beyond the normal range of sound and imbues it with great emotion, stirring their hearts of fellow wolves. Those who heed the call find their resolve hardened, meaning those who hear your call and actually answer and return to you or come racing towards you are strengthened. Have you seen the original Thundercats cartoon?
Thunder, 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 cats.
Yes, that intro where everyone's eyes gleam with a fire of resolve, determination, and all of a sudden, even though you know each of them had their own acrobatic skills and each of them had their own strength, in that moment when the eye of Thundera was held aloft and he called them, the cat's roar went out and nothing could get in their way. The same traps and failings that hit them every other episode didn't apply in those moments as they were rushing towards his side.
Okay. So it's like a bolstering thing to resolve type dealio.
Yes.
Okay. Point up. I just need to figure out what exactly my kit is here.
Your kit is just caboodles.
Damn right it is. And now I'm gonna go jump myself some snaglings or whatever the fuck these are.
In the case where we are trying to sneak up on things, I would say let's not howl.
I have nothing in the way of communication abilities right now. What I have is a fucking target.
Yeah, he is. He is the target. He's the bait. He's the get out there and take a hit for some strange reason.
I am gonna go and absolutely show them why they fucked up by coming here.
You're sure you're not the Catholic priest you said that you weren't? You know, something about martyrdom.
I am
always.
the wrath of God. I am fire and brimstone. I am the left hand of doom. Or the right hand of doom. I don't know. I never really read my books.
I'm pretty sure I don't want to know what you're doing with your left doom hand.
Just channel the Hellboy intro music, the red right hand.
Alright, sounds like a plan. So is there any changes or any additions to the plan as it stands?
I mean, I'm going to give them one hell of a first round in order to get them aggroed onto me, but then I'm going to start running.
I'm trying to think of no, I got nothing. Let's do this.
Deal.
Yeah.
Alright, we'll take off at a lope. Nose near the ground, tracking prey.
There's a problem for Lil. Something that being able to hear what's being said around you all. Why can't we hear him? Yeah, it makes no sense. I can hear all the other ones. I can't hear him. And you realize that they're not talking about the pack ahead of you. They're talking about one of your members that they suddenly can't hear.
Oh, that's not good.
Ugh.
That seems good. Hey, is my
We'll
motorcycle?
pause and look behind to make sure that they have everybody.
Did my bike follow me?
No.
My
No.
good buddy.
No.
Sapient fucking Harley rolling through a jungle, yeah, totally.
No, I didn't.
It is actually a sapient fucking Harley because it's got a spirit in it.
Yep. It is in its body. It is not here with you, even though it's one in the same space for him at the exact same time. And as you bring up the rear, Lil, and you count your stars and garters and, do your head count. So there's Adris heading off to get their attention. Pulling up Adris's rear, there's Kale. Slightly ahead of you, farther to the left, there's Rora. Where'd the L Lin go?
Oh, son of a...
Biscuit.
I'm trying to get churchy, so I need to stop cursing.
Oh, we know who's not on our team.
That or who has a very... much more effective way of stealthing than we do.
Who's that? He says as he finally begins walking again.
What? Huh? Who? Who's on
I
first?
can't talk, so, and I'm pretty much in, the Doom music has started playing, so.
Wait, why can't you talk?
In Kreno's form.
Oh yeah, but other wolves can understand him.
Yep.
I mean, we.
Okay, no one has made me aware that there's anything off, unless Lil's gonna be like, hey yo, what's up?
Yeah, Lil would definitely, before he reappears, like a little bark, and point out, basically, hey, we're missing one.
And just look over as he reappears. What the hell, man? Where'd you disappear to?
I've been right here the whole time.
What?
If
No, the grass says they can't hear you anymore.
Oh, no, I can be really quiet. And if I stay still long enough, And as he's saying, as if he stays still long enough, it is a hard bit of effort keeping him in visual sight. It's almost as if he's fading before your very eyes as he's standing still.
Oh, hey, I can do that. And I do that.
Yeah, you just stop following along just to go invisible.
Yes.
It's like, all right.
Danger. So he's hiding. Let's get this moving.
Yeah, all right. Continuing on.
Lil kind of nips at each other's heels, like, get moving.
Just Fly to the Valkyries playing through my head.
That being the case, as the lead point person, Adras, would you be so kind as to go ahead and roll your wits plus athletics?
Wits plus athletics. Okay. This is a physical check, yes?
You get jokes.
It uses athletics, though. Alright, so that's gonna be 6 dice for me. W. Roll. 6. Boop. God, I hate you. Why do you do this?
So, what it usually does the last 2, actually your last 1 as your rage die.
Whatever.
So I would just assume the ones furthest to the right are the...
I'm happy with whatever ruling nobody wants to make on this particular engagement.
Oh.
Or maybe he can make you do it again.
Well, with 5 successes, I would like you to keep the 5 successes, but you may re-roll, because with that 5 successes, you would lose your rage.
I would lose my rage?
Yeah, both of those are unsuccessful.
Okay, so how do I just... Oof. I would like to keep it, but I do have to rage, so... Or I've got to maintain my rage, so...
Alright, make it happen.
God, I used the wrong fucking... I'm going to start raging IRL.
Yes.
He said make it happen, not don't make it happen.
Alright, well, that is just...
No, it's fine. We can assume with that success, with that syntax that you use, would be a success on your rage die. Meaning that you would not, in fact, lose it. You would not lose the wolf, even though you feel it slipping through your fingertips. You feel the world pulling away you from you, being split in two. And it is just painful enough that you dig in with both hands. You bite down with everything you have to hold on that essence of yourself and realize that while the world around you, the spiritual world and where you all are, this side of the gauntlet is speaking and communicating. They're so busy fucking talking that they didn't realize that the pack ahead of you had doubled back. These young, hungry fucking wolves who don't know right from wrong and don't fucking care. These wolves who are responsible for taking from you all, whether it's temporarily or permanently, your source of grace. Whether they did so permanently or temporarily, they deprived you of seeing Rebels smile again. They deprived you of having that conversation and talk yourself off the ledge and giving up the ghost of your faith. Again, they deprived you and the cairn of the fair, equitable consideration of Rebel, whether permanently or temporarily. And that is anger-inducing enough to keep you from losing your wolf. As they come doubling back, chuckling, laughing, threatening to eat their fill again. You can hear the low, very loud murmurings and growls and nips back. Oh, look, there's another wolf we can take down. Yeah, fuck that guy. He looks like a pedo. Kill his ass!
Just, all right, they're on their way. As he's boom, 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 boom. Absolutely, just going to fucking slam bodily into this before, trying to lure them.
That being the case, would you be so kind as to go ahead and roll your strength plus brawl? Contested.
Now that is a physical test.
That one is a physical test, but
yes.
You want to know how many dice I have in brawl?
Yes.
Not many.
You know what? If you just had some meth.
If I just had some meth. You are so right. So right. Get rid of that. I have two failures that I can reroll on that. So let's give it a shot. There we go.
That is a lot. That is a lot, sir. How did they do? How did they do? There's 8. Idiots. There's no other way to say it. There's literally no other way to understand it. Only fools who said in their heart that there is no God would stand in the face of a charging Krynos. Even other Krynos know that the most important thing one can do is make the other guy miss. These idiots see Adres charging with every intent to gore, rip, tear like a mindless train heading in their general direction. Instead of doing the smart thing and attempting to dodge, instead of doing the smart thing and circle and take him down as per you all have been trained on your various hunts, they try to meet overwhelming force with overwhelming more force.
When you say they, are you saying that there's more than one?
Yeah, there's 5 of these jacks.
Yes.
And you pulled all 5?
You told me to.
No, I said pull 1.
There's a pack, buddy. There's a pack. Do you think that? No.
And
okay, I just want to make sure I was followed along. That's all. Just kind of making sure I'm still on the same page.
And as he crashes into them, as he tooth and claw and rend of spiritual flesh, resulting in fur literally flying several feet removed. Their lack of training, their lack of education, their lack of years of time growing accustomed to the instincts and impulses of their other selves shows as one leaps towards biting and rending and tearing the hand free of the war form of the Garu in his Hispo form. The resulting yowl and yelp are the last sounds that it makes as it hits the ground, which isn't really ground. This side of the gauntlet, everything is fairly a translation, a 3D print of the spiritual essence of the thing. This side of the gauntlet, the physical form and the pain that you all are dishing out and potentially receiving isn't actually physical until you all die. When you step back across the gauntlet, the wounds will still potentially be there if they're deep enough, but otherwise this isn't the real world, so it shouldn't be as graphically accurate as it is. The pink meat beneath the mucous membrane of the skin, beneath the fur, beneath the pelt, the marrow in the center of the bones of that particular wolf's throat shouldn't be that accurate color, shouldn't have that scent of offal as it lays open once it hits the ground. But you know death, and that is death, and that is very, very accurate death. And unfortunately for you, it is a close enough death that they immediately, those who were still in Hispo, the other two that were, and the one that was in glabro form, immediately shift to their war form, their grief pouring out of them in black acid waves. And the fight is, in fact, now fully, truly joined. Please remove 1 die for every opponent going forward.
Yeah! So -4 dice.
And the battle is fully joined as you watch and feel the death of one of your number, because that's what that is. That's what that carcass was. Is there anything that you are attempting to do? Is there anything anyone else is attempting to do? Because that death ripples out. Remember, this is the watering hole. If you obey the rules, everything's perfectly fine. You only hunt when hungry. You only cull when needed. You tend the land just enough that the wildness doesn't overtake, nor does it fall into disrepair. A needless death is very much beyond the pale.
What I do is I get out my lighter and I try to light this spirit corpse on fire.
Oh. Letting your inner theurge take over, are you?
So
Yeah, I learned things from theurges. I have a theurge buddy. They're obsessed with fire, and I never get to do the fire. They never let me do the fire.
So rushing forward from complete invisibility, no one knew you were there as long as you weren't moving. The screams of "it's a trap" is more of that rebel bitches. People killed them all. They killed Tommy. His name was Ted. His name was Tommy. I called him Tommy. He answered to fucking Tommy. Kill this guy. No, I'll kill her instead.
Lou would have been using the distraction of Andro to sneak up on the Galabro and try to take him down before he shifts.
Okay. I contested dexterity and stealth. It will definitely... Normally you will receive additional penalties, but the -2 is more than enough. Go ahead and make that happen, and it is contested. Let's see where that actually lands. And while that's happening, Kale, watching this transpire.
What was that old that old saying that Mike Tyson had about everyone has a plan until, you know?
No plans
Yeah.
for contact with the enemy situation?
That was Mike Tyson?
Yeah, pretty much.
It sounds like Mike Tyson.
You know, he had a saying that everyone has a plan when
Till they get hit in the
running, until they get punched in the mouth. The entire plan just went whole left. Oh, fuck it. I'm in Kratos form, so I grab one. I'm gonna try to slow down whoever and just dive and rip his throat out.
Oh, one thing to consider, Nobu has said that needless killing is kind of beyond what we're supposed to be doing here. So
This
keep that in
isn't
mind.
needless killing.
I mean, like, you know...
No, trust me, he's not strong enough to rip someone's throat out. He's strong enough to hurt somebody, but he's not
yes,
strong enough to rip anyone's
The
throat
dice
out.
have a funny sense of humor.
Needful things.
I mean, like, if you declare that your intention is murder, you may very well murder.
No, he just said
Yeah.
That's different.
That is different.
Okay.
They are untrained, so let's give them their just due. Let's see what happens. What does fate have in store for you in regards to 5?
Actually, let me ask you, how many of them are in Krenos form right now?
The 4 are shifting and beginning to be set upon Adris. Is what they're attempting. They may not know much, but they know that claws hurt.
That's reasonable. Even sharing.
That's reasonable. It says physical test.
Ooh.
Murder counts as physical.
All right, that means that Lil, you are committing an attack against a wary opponent, because as they're kill him, no, I'll kill her. What about that one? And instead of you being able to take it down, it attacks mid-shift. So that is a contested strength plus brawl versus strength plus brawl, as you are attempting to take it down, and they're trying to make sure that you can't do any of that. And while that's happening, pulling the number who are actually besetting Adris from 4 to 3, and Kale attempting to attack the other with a call shot that is strength plus brawl -1. And while Rora is attempting to still handle her lighter in war form, that is going to
she's just like fire.
Is brawl a physical test?
yes. Basically, anything that's using your strength, your brawl, or your stamina will automatically count as a physical test. If another factor plays into removing it from solely a physical test, then that no longer applies. Okay?
Yeah, like for instance, if you were having a martial battle where it was more about, straight up like mentally working your way through the fight, Sherlock Holmes style, where no one was actually moving. That is some Shang-Chi shit right there.
One, right?
I love that movie.
Yes.
Ooh, that's ugly.
Yeah, that's why I said I wasn't worried.
Why do you only have...
He didn't add the 4 from Krenos.
Oh yeah, you do. That's 4 dice.
That was for damage only.
No.
Nope.
Oh.
It's to
Okay.
Go ahead
attack.
and... Yeah, buddy.
Alright, I -1 die already.
Yeah, so... roll 4. That's pretty good. If you want, you can willpower that.
Yep.
Okay.
Oof. That's unfortunate.
Oh,
I mean, at least you're not losing any rage.
Oh, that'll happen. That'll happen. Don't worry. That's fine.
I have never considered the idea of charging into battle and growing, like, depressed while doing so. Like, literally, as Flight of the Valkyries is playing in the back of your head, just... Oh man, I gotta go do my taxes tomorrow.
No, it's more worse.
So you can pick up laundry while you're going.
It's if I survive this, I have to go to court, and I'm going to lose. If I don't survive this, at least I go out with glory.
It's your brain working against your body.
Yep.
Ow.
So, while the dice roll are happening, Roar, would you be so kind as to roll your dexterity plus technology -1 because you are attempting in Krino's form to start a fire.
Does this count as a physical test?
It does not.
Well, this is gonna go great. Hold on.
You've got this. Oh my god, what the fuck? The Theurge would be proud, but I'm not. I'm deeply concerned.
Yes!
What'd you roll? I'm sorry, I'm in the
got a
kitchen.
10.
Oh shit, look at you. Does the body roll to avoid?
No, that wasn't for her. That's the other combat that's happening. You are now facing you are 2 wolves versus yourself. As they are attempting to make sure that you cease to be, is there anything in particular that Adres is doing?
So, seeing that he not so unintentionally just flat out murdered one of them, there's gonna be a bit of a dialing back. Adres at this point is attempting to defend himself, so the more effective individuals can take them down without overdoing it, since he is not trained enough in it to really know how to hold back.
I mean, you are Spetsnaz, so it shouldn't be too hard.
Shut the fuck! But yeah, he's basically just trying to defend himself rather than attack in this scenario.
Really?
Like he said, he's going to be the distraction.
Okay. Go on.
Robbie, get some headache meds. I've got a migraine. I'll be right back.
Okay. And while you step away from migraine, that being the case, you will roll versus their outcome. And unfortunately, you will need to succeed on your rage check because every time you're not attacking in Garo, you could lose the wolf.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yep, there you go.
Alright, I'm back. So, what were you saying?
With you holding back, that is very much anti-offense that the wolf is demanding of you. You could very well lose your wolf in doing so.
Well, we'll see how this goes.
You need a 4 successes, by the way.
Okay, so 3, 2, 9. All right. Did I accrue any rage from inflicting great violence?
No, you didn't take any damage, sir. You obliterated the youngling that was there being an idiot. He ceased to be under your watch, under your command, under your claw.
Alright, that is a 8 success crit against the 4 difficulty, and I assume that the rage dice of 6 is not lowering?
Yeah,
Like,
no, you're not. No, it's not.
Oh, thank God, because that would be very fucking unfortunate to just become pink-skinned in the middle of this werewolf fight.
Yeah. So I will tell you that it is not going great for any Garo at present. The young pack of would-be lost wolves have lost members. The pack of young, upwardly mobile Gauru that are you all, that is this new pack that is burgeoning, is on the verge of losing a member. At least it feels that way. Because as Lil sneaks up on the wolf, who turns and charges her as if he's rushing into the arms of some Valkyrie, some big muscle mommy that's thick AF, and will take them away and pay for all of their meals. They meet like two opposing forces, and Lil's agility, her height, low to the ground body, dancing and dodging between the blows being rained in her general direction, she scores a disemboweling grip with her teeth and does what comes natural to wolves and dogs, a gentle shake to exert your will, to exert your dominance, and bits and pieces of its spiritual physical form are left in her jaws as it clutches its stomach and begins flailing with the other hand to get her free. Let go of my intestine, damn you! It begins to howl and yap at her. While Adris, I'm gonna fucking kill this guy, son of a, and leaps. And crashing like waves, the two Garu meet. One of them is in fact wounded significantly. That's the outcome of 2, plus the goriness of it all. There's a calmer, less graphic way of describing what becomes of Adris's chest, but that wouldn't be completely accurate. That's 5 health levels of damage across his chest. That's 5 levels of damage, opening the spaces between his ribs, the pink beating and thrumming of his lungs exposed to all of this spiritual air. It is not a non-graphic moment. You've never seen the insides of your chest before, Kale. That's not a feeling you want to have ever again if you survive this moment.
Side note, in Krynos, you have 4 extra health levels.
Yes.
You just scared the fuck out of me, nobody. Because you kept saying Adris. I'm like, what? Where did this come from?
Oh no, it's not over yet. The horror of it all doesn't end with seeing the innards of one of your compatriots. The horror of it all for Adris, actually, is that once again, doing his best to duck, dodge, and evade, his natural instincts take over. The call to blood, the extinguishing of life, is a hard thing to not do. And ducking and dodging and weaving and slashing just enough to keep them from making contact causes them to crash into the next, as one set of claws takes the other's hand as it falls to the ground, passing by your thigh. As you dodge to the left, moving further out of the way, the black ichor that is their blood begins seeping into the ground and sizzling the grass all around it. The call for blood is not one that's easily ignored in any form, and in Gauru, in your war form, in your battle form, it's impossible. Blood calls out, blood calls to blood. And even as they are idiots and foolish, they're still your people. They're still who you are. They're still what you would have been without Rebel's guidance, without her compassion.
Gotcha. Though by that same vein, it's less what I would have been without her guidance and more what I would have been having rejected her guidance, if we're operating under the idea that they are at least partly the reason why she's missing.
Look at that. And the conscious mind and the faith and the teachings of your seminary years comes rearing up out of the darkness. That provides you with a little solace, and it gives you another way of perceiving the matter, and it also cools some of that fire in the pit of you.
That's not good. Wait a second.
And unfortunately for you, Kale, the thing that seeing what your insides look like, especially being as bits and pieces of them are stuck to that offending other lupine's claws, that offending other Garu's claws, is that it very much does incite a reignition of the fires that had begun to dim some. Would you be so kind as to add one rage, as you are in fact crucially wounded, more so in the pride of how dare you make me bleed my fucking blood, you goddamn casual. No respect, no understanding. A hard head will definitely make a soft, well, you know how that phrase goes.
Well, now that he gave me rage, I do have to thank him. What do I have to do to cast Porcupine Reprisal?
It should be there on the sheet. What is it?
It just says cost 1 rage.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you just spend it, and it happens.
Okay. Well, I'm spending that and Raging Strike. I'm gonna make him bleed a little bit.
Ooh.
With my 1 die of brawl.
No. You don't have to do anything. As the fires of rage flood into you, you very much pull a original The Crow moment. If you want it, then have it all. Take it all. And that's exactly what he does. As you give every ounce of your rage to him, because that's what you've done. That rage that you grabbed, that rage that you grew, that fire that begun to blossom, dissipates as if someone tamped it out by setting it beneath an iceberg. It is gone. You stand there in relatively hale and hearty as far as such things are concerned. Your glasses are a little fogged, and the points of damage that he was dealing out unabashedly to you in this moment, the weight of your mindless aggression washes over him, and you know you didn't splash anything on him, you didn't pee on him, you didn't spit on him, you didn't vomit on him, but his claws begin to smoke and singe and melt away as if he has been doused in the most virulent of acids. He is beginning to... It's hard to make out exactly what he's beginning to, because he's howling and screaming in such a high-pitched falsetto, near soprano, perfect feral version of Mariah Carey that it's hard to really keep your eyes open underneath the pain of that just sonic abuse as he ceases to be.
Scan the area. Is anyone around us?
Them.
Who could be doing that to him?
No, you did that to him.
Oh. That's not good.
Raiders of the Lost Ark, this motherfucker, dude. Like,
yes. Remember, it's the damage that he gave you returned to him, plus the weight and damage of your rage as you poured it all into him.
So as there's now a human in the middle of this werewolf fight.
Yes.
Better hope that whatever bonk that bonks you, you survive.
I'm just excited there's more things to light on fire.
There's a puddle.
There are, and it shouldn't work. It shouldn't happen. In fact, to be perfectly honest, you've never been able to do this before. Your clothes have always been shredded. You've always lost everything. But as you reach where your pocket should be, where your lighter should be, in Krino's form, in war form, there is your lighter. There is your father's Zippo that you don't tell anybody was your father's Zippo because he stole it from your mother. But you don't tell anybody that it was your father's Zippo. But there it is in your hand, in your huge bear paw-sized clawed hand. And it shouldn't work. Because none of this is real. Even though it is the realest, most accurate thing that you've ever experienced. The Umbra, this side of the gauntlet, is in fact the real world. It is the proof to the pudding that if you think it, it's possible. There is nothing impossible. And yet, you know that this shouldn't work. And it starts up beautifully. There's a whoosh of air that's not actually here. The fire is so hot that it is not blue or red or orange or that reddish melding of the two. It's not even yellow. It is full-fledged white. And as you crouch over the cooling body of the would-be demon wolf, the fur goes up and you smell that acrid stench like hair is being burned, but it's far more pungent. It is the physical manifestation here in the spirit world of the darkness in that particular wolf's heart. Looking past the glowing, dancing flames as the pelt goes up as if it was soaked in kerosene, you see Kale standing over the melting, desiccating form of another wolf. The steam rising up off the carcass is acrid and is black. And Kale, still in his blazer and tie and perfectly pressed slacks with his soft-soled Vans, or was he wearing Skechers today? Here in this wildness. Just past him, as one other of these lashes out at his brethren, and Adris is doing his best to back away and not give in to that call to blood. There's some small misstep, some small pause on Adris's part as the wolves, using the now increased rage of losing a hand to their rage, press forward. At which point Lin materializes there next to Adris, shoving him hard enough that his feet go airborne, just as the two wolves convene. Looking to your right, you see Lil playing tug of war. It's so cute when puppies and young wolves play tug of war with the little ropes with the knots in them and the ball on one end. It's great. It's wonderful. Except for she's not playing tug of war with a rope, though she still has about 10 feet between her and her opponent. Her opponent, the other wolf who saw her coming, twirling, whirling to meet force with force, is disemboweled, and as she pulls and tugs at that pinkish gray intestine that is still inside of that wolf's body, you can only imagine what sort of pain they are under. Because while nothing here is actually real, it is the realest version of itself, the truest version of herself. She is disemboweling foot by foot this wolf who can't do anything to stop her except for something even more egregious. If you just cut away his intestine, there wouldn't be anything for her to continue pulling on.
Rora howls in a song celebrating the triumph over darkness in the heart of the fallen wolves, and she continues on to the puddle of wolf to burn that as well. But this time she brings the tail, which is still on fire, to light the next thing on fire.
Man has discovered fire.
Man has discovered fire. And she continues to burn the darkness of everything that's not still twitching. So, enjoy those intestines.
About the intestines.
If you keep playing tug of war long enough, she'll light those on fire too. Because you know what they say.
I think at some point, once she gets enough space away from him, and he seems like he might be less of a threat, she would let go and run around him and go to help Andrus.
She would just hold on and keep him twirling and spinning in space as he's trying to save what is left of his insides. Far too little, far too late. There is a weight and a consideration upon that. He just suddenly feels empty. Far emptier and colder than he has ever felt in the entirety of his existence.
Sucks to be him.
It does, especially when finally releasing and far enough away. Most wolves know there's a point where some things you don't heal or try to heal until you've been made whole. You reattach the finger and you hold it in place, or you get some stitches to hold it in place. Yeah, it's going to suck healing past the stitches, but without the stitches, the finger just closes. The wound just closes. You need the stitches to hold the digit in place. Most wolves know that there's a step and a process necessary to heal in a way that won't do you more harm. Most of that experience is learned through being with and around other wolves who teach you not to. As much as it sucks, bite through the pain. Bite the bullet, as it were. Hold on to it. Will work out better for you if you do. But there's no one who have taught these wolves, or no lesson that they've managed to absorb. And so as he begins doing what wolves do, what Garu do, and inciting the wolf's urge to be whole, to be safe for hunt, and begins healing with his intestines stretched 35 feet, and is not a state that you would have liked for anyone to be in. Yet there he is, the furry pelt of hair across his stomach, the muscles knitting into place with the intestines still through them. And as you rush towards Adras, who is just to the left of the two wolves converging on Lynn, as you rush past Kale standing there, his hair magnificent, mind you, his suit, his blazer unblemished as of yet. There's something just odd about seeing him in the midst of all of this carnage, and not his wolf self, not the hirsute, dark furred pelt of his wolf version, not his Krinos, not as Glabro, not as Lupus. Him, his bipedal, everyday human form. As Aurora goes lightly dancing past to ensure that the mass, the puddle that was formerly Lupin, was formerly Garou, no longer exists in any state except for the remnants of its dried remains. The battle joined, and the battle bloodily and graphically won, because it is literally only a matter of moments. One of the wolves you are closing on as they do battle with Lyn have turned their attention from Adras, leaving nothing but open space for his actions. Even bipedal and human, you all are stronger than other mortals of your equal same size, height, and weight. So even with Kale behind them, he now has access and use of whatever tools he brought with him. And then there's you, speeding along like a four-legged missile. It is literally only a moment of time, only a matter of time before it is over for this pack of would-be defilers. As you all realize that, as that revelation comes to you all, and the understanding of what that means for them comes to you all, and the spirits are much like the ancient Roman gladiatorial arenas, urging you all forward. I'd like to thank you all for a lovely episode, and I will see you guys next time. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Night.